Revolution to the Parables. Preface. My mind was closed. That essentially sums up where I stood as a devout fundamentalist. I had all the answers as long as I ignored most of the questions. I blindly believed what had been given as truth. Such truths had led to a dose of religious arrogance, much ignorance, and a shallow relationship with my God. On that premise, I began a quest. This pursuit's aim was to help me better connect with my God through the genuine wisdom of Jesus. Upon beginning this search, I had already begun to emerge from my fundamentalist prison. Sure, the guards tried fervently to keep me under lock and key. However, one very key pearl of wisdom allowed me to break free. I realized that I was a Christian not because of a plan of salvation that was offered exclusively to those of the Christian faith, but rather I was a Christian because it is Jesus that reveals God to me. Now, my fundamentalist self had believed the former, which had subsequently created a faith grounded in believing the unbelievable and accepting the absurd. Previously, I held firm to the idea that divine favor, which once had belonged exclusively to the Jews and been centered on the purity system of cleansing rituals, dietary restrictions, sin sacrifice, etc., had mystically become available to all through a belief in Jesus as God, which came with a whole new list of rules. Now, this thought prompted belief and an earnest effort at following those rules. However, when I began to study the ways and teachings of Jesus on a more historically responsible level, I put aside my previous belief system. This exploration brought a renewed sense of focus on my relationship with God and a heightened sense of purpose that made sense in the world all around me. Jesus' teachings had made the world clear. Within their first century context, Jesus' ideology blankets mankind with a warm spiritual wisdom. I realized that organized religion had watered down many of the parables, so much so that in some cases the point had been missed. For example, the parable of the Good Samaritan does more than teach us to help others. It speaks against legalism and prejudice while upholding compassion as a pathway to God. Humbly stated, I'm not a scholar. I simply strive to make good, sound sense. I've learned much from the Borgs, Linnemans, and Wrights of the spiritual academic community. I stood on the shoulders of these scholars and others to gather information and form my own opinion, something I encourage you to do as well. The end result for me was a strengthened relationship with God that far outweighed my former focus on legalism as a staunch fundamentalist. This was the end result of my quest. Through Jesus' example and teachings, it is indeed in Him whom I found a sense of salvation for this sphere and the realm beyond.